Welcome to the Garden Report on CLNS Media and Celtics Blog. I'm Nick Gelso, and I'm flanked by the two living legends, Jimmy Toscano.
As they say in the old country.
As they say, Jimothy, and Jared Weiss.
As they say in the old country.
What's up, Jared? Nah, you're good, bro.
Okay, all right. Anyway, lots of news going on recently, gentlemen. We have Ray Allen resurfacing and making up with Paul Pierce. I've been waiting for the 08 Big Three, and we haven't seen KG come back yet, but for them to make La Pacha going into what is their 10-year anniversary. Jimmy, Jared, you guys were there through a lot of the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen era. Thoughts?
I think it's great that Paul Pierce was looking for Brandon Jennings, but he ended up finding
Ray Allen.
If anybody knew that he was in China because of the back and forth between Jennings and Pierce, that's a topic for another day. But yeah, Team Super Penguin coming through. I actually wonder if they told each other that they were both going to be there. Like China just kind of pulled the wool over their eyes on that one, maybe.
The entire nation of China just pulled that one off. It's like Paul walks on the court, throws up an alley-oop, Ray Allen catches. It's like, Ray, you're here too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know where Brandon Jennings is at, by the way?
Yeah, he was mopping the floor in the back.
So what was more surprising, the Kyrie Irving trade or the making up of Ray Allen and Paul Pierce?
I think it's a toss-up, but honestly,
it's a toss-up
for Pierce and Ray. Honestly, it's time to move on, get past however things ended. I think everybody will agree it didn't end the storybook way for that core of players. I mean, when you see Pierce and KG, those guys get traded to Brooklyn. Ray signs with Miami. And I know at the time there was a lot of hard feelings, not just from the fans, but from Pierce, Ray, Rondo. I mean, you know the whole story. I still, to this day, I don't blame Ray for what he did. I know a lot of people do, but I think, Pierce sort of coming out and saying it's time to get back together, I think that goes so far in allowing a lot of fans who can't forgive Ray. I think they were kind of waiting for Pierce and KG to at least like pave the way. Jared, anyway, we see Rajon Rondo letting things go with Ray Allen.
I think I'll get a microphone before Rajon Rondo lets this one go.
Never.
It's gonna be unless Ray signs with the the Pelicans. I mean, we saw that clip from the game. He's still throwing it down. Age 42, he's getting up there. Yeah. He's always an underrated dunker. Yep. He can still throw it down. They might need him down there in New Orleans. So they signed Tony Allen, so I assume they're probably not gonna sign Ray Allen, who hasn't played in the NBA in like 4 years. It's great that Ray Allen can be retired for several years. Paul Pierce is retired now, and yet there's still a major NBA headline. It's the magic of the NBA. It's not even a question of will the offseason end. The offseason is pretty much over. We're 2 weeks away from media day as of
Was there an offseason?
There
was no offseason.
It was just a full court press the entire summer, and the NBA will never die. And it's a wonderful thing.
Right.
And they're gonna do an Area 21 with all those guys. Maybe Rondo has to retire and Big Baby has to make up a doc or something like that before it can happen. Yeah, Nate has to stop filming the Uncle Drew movie. But the fact that this has another chapter to the story, I think it's just wonderful.
I think it's great too, and I think that you will see Ray at Pierce's jersey retirement. I think you should. I think you should see all those guys. I mean, they were a huge part of. Ray was a huge part of obviously that run, and I don't know if Pierce gets that ring, and I don't know if KG gets that ring without Ray. You can look back and say, he betrayed us or whatever, but
they don't get KG if they don't get Ray. So
that's another thing. Yeah, he was the first shoe to drop there on draft night when they traded for him. So I think all these guys at the end of the day, like their legacies are intertwined. They will always be connected in some way. So I mean, it's so easy to hold grudges and to have hatred, but I really don't think it should be that way, especially with those people that meant so much to each other's success on the court, and I would imagine even off the court.
Jared, talking the 08 Big Three, it's 2017. I mean, almost 10 years later, we're looking at a new era. Hayward, Irving, Horford.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
Tell me not to, and tell me why not to.
Why? So what's the full question?
Are we Big Three? She's trying to compare. He's trying to compare.
There are technically 3 All-Star caliber players on this team. However, that team before had 3 elite All-NBA players still at their peak. This team has close to that, but not quite. It's not quite the same level. But I think the team is way more rich in talent that will grow with it than what that previous team was. That previous team was 3 elite players with the perfect array of complementary role players. And Rondo, who ascended into one of the top 10 players probably in the NBA for a short period of time before that all came crashing down. This team, with the projection that Jaylen Brown is on now, Marcus Smart still could get there. Terry Rozier probably not going to be at that level, but he could be a very good player. And then, of course, Jason Tatum. I mean, they're projecting to have potentially 5, maybe more than that, all-star caliber players within their primes at the same time. And that's something that almost no team in history has ever pulled off. And, I mean, the Warriors are essentially pulling that off right now. There were some great teams in the 80s that pulled it off. It's extremely rare to do that. It's part of the magic of what the Celtics have been able to pull off with this rebuild that Doc Rivers, even as that was probably the greatest rebuild he's ever seen in sports.
And he bailed on it.
Yeah, and so that, he certainly did. He ran away from it. He didn't want a part of it. That, I think, is what makes this such a special rebuild. You don't have to have, 3 top 15 players.
Right. They're not begging for those veteran free agents to come in like the Eddie Houses and the James Posies at that time. I think at this point, you've got guys. I agree with you. I think Tatum has that skill to be an all-star player at some point. I still need to see a little bit more out of Brown. But generally speaking, I mean, listen, if you were to compare this group of players, this big three, which I'm not willing to call them that,
medium three,
to KG and Pierce and Ray. I mean, you're talking about 3 guys who we're not just all-stars. They are going to go down as some of the greatest players in the NBA history. Whether or not I think Paul Pierce is an extremely underrated player all time, and Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters of all time. Kevin Garnett, you already know everything about him. I don't think you can't say that about Hayward at this point.
Right.
Horford, you wouldn't say that about, and Kyrie Irving. Maybe, who knows? I mean, you wait and see. Yeah, he's still very young in his career, so. I think time will tell on just how much talent this crew has compared to that last big 3.
Well, we have,
of course, the bird. Don't
go there, man.
We
won't even prolong this segment.
We won't touch McHale and
don't go near all that. Yeah. So anyway, Celtics blog, CLNS Media, The Garden Report. I'm Nick Gelso. Jared
Powered
Weiss.
by Bombfell.
I'm going there.
Okay,
Timothy Toscano.
Just want to make sure everybody noticed this is actually a Bombfell shirt. So.
Bombfell.com/Garden Report. Yep. And support our sponsors and support the Garden Report. We'll see you at the Garden.